Major events in the United States in the 1940s. The 1940s were a critical and transformative decade for the United States. This period was marked by the effects of World War II, post-war Reconstruction, and the beginning of the Cold War. Here are some of the major events that took place in the U.S. during the 1940s. 1. World War II 1939 to 1945. The majority of the 1940s were overshadowed by World War II. The U.S. entered the war after the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. This attack prompted the U.S. to join the Allies in the war. During the war years in America, military mobilization, millions of American men and women joined the armed forces, and war industries rapidly expanded. America provided significant support to the Allies by producing war materials and expanding its military forces. Home front Americans supported the war effort by rationing food, fuel, and other resources. Women played crucial roles in war production, symbolized by the iconic Rosie the Riveter. Internment of Japanese Americans. During the war, Japanese Americans on the West Coast were placed in internment camps due to security concerns. This policy was later recognized as a violation of constitutional rights. 2. The Manhattan Project and the Atomic Bomb 1940 to 1945. The Manhattan Project was the US's secret program to develop the atomic bomb. In 1945, as a result of this project, atomic bombs were dropped on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. These bombings hastened the end of the war but also caused immense destruction and loss of life. The use of atomic bombs marked the beginning of the nuclear age and had a profound impact on global politics. 3. The founding of the United Nations 1945. At the end of the war, a new international organization, the United Nations (UN), was established to maintain world peace and security. The foundations of the UN were laid at a conference in San Francisco in 1945. The US, as one of the founding members, played a significant role in this new world order. 4. The Truman Doctrine and the Marshall Plan 1947 to 1948. In the post-war period, U.S. foreign policy focused on containing the spread of communism. In 1947, President Harry S. Truman announced the Truman Doctrine, which aimed to provide economic and military aid to Greece and Turkey to prevent the spread of communism. In 1948, the Marshall Plan was implemented as a comprehensive economic aid program to rebuild Europe after the war. 5. The beginning of the Cold War. In the late 1940s, ideological and political tensions between the U.S. and the Soviet Union intensified. This period marked the beginning of the Cold War, characterized by a nuclear arms race and various international crises. Domestically, the fear of communism and McCarthyism became widespread and had significant impacts on U.S. politics. 6. Social and cultural changes. The war years and the post-war period saw significant social and cultural changes in America. Post-war economic growth led to the expansion of suburbs and the rise of consumer culture. Additionally, African Americans and other minorities took important steps in the early stages of the civil rights movements. Conclusion: the 1940s were one of the most dynamic and influential periods in the history of the United States. The victory in World War II, the consolidation of leadership in global politics, and the changes in domestic policies were the main factors that shaped this decade. The events of this period deeply influenced America's future and its impact on the world.